Confessions of an Accountant, where no topic is off the ledger.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much to so many of you for having your cameras on. It's always nice to know that me, Al, and Donna aren't just yapping to an empty room. So I'm very, very grateful to all of you for having your camera on. My default mode is oversharing. It's definitely a core part of my personality, but also through my journey as an accountant, actually, I feel like my career would have been really different if more people shared more openly. And so it's something that I've always vowed to do as I grow my practice quite publicly. And so I would love for this session to be as collaborative as possible. And so please do fire your questions in the chat. I'm going to allocate a chunk of time at the end to answer any questions that you guys have got, or just bring you guys in for more of a fireside chat if Donna has any questions or anyone else does. So please do fire them in the chat. I am quite good at multitasking, so I can answer questions as we go. And I feel like the brief for this session from Donna was very much that you guys are a lovely, wholesome community who just love hearing people's stories. And I know from my own journey, that's definitely where I see the most value. And so I would love to just tell you a little bit of maybe the offline version, things you might not have heard before if you've heard me speak or consume my content online. And so if we've not met before, hi, it's lovely to meet you. My name is Rachel Harris. I'm a disruptor in the accounting industry. And so I'm disrupting what it means to be an accountant, what it feels like to have an accountant, and disrupting the concept that you can't scale a business past 7 figures without losing yourself along the way. And so as of today in 2025, my business is worth £2 million. We have a Manchester office and an Oxford office with a thriving team that's growing in headcount every single month. So we've got 25 full-time accountants across the two offices. My life is split into 3 sections. So the first is the accounting firm, which forms 1/3 of my day-to-day job. So within the accounting firm, we deliver all services up to the audit threshold and currently have our audit license pending. So my big girl pants are getting prepared as we speak, and we're moving into the audit space, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, and so within the accounting firm, we do everything in-house, grassroots. We're British, so zero outsourcing. Everybody is on payroll, so no outsourcing in the UK or outside of the UK, and it's something that I'm really, really proud of. I think I feel like we are about to see a parting of the ways in terms of how entrepreneurship happens in the UK. And for me, just doubling down on growing the future of UK accountants is very important to me personally, just because of my own journey. And so that's how we've grown the practice. So the practice is one part of my life. The second part of my life is accountant she, and so I am nearly a full-time content creator. There are some months where accountant she generates as much profit as the accounting firm of 25 members of staff, which is beyond my wildest dreams. I get paid to yap for a living, and so throughout today, I'll talk you through how I went from creating content to try and cover my mortgage all of the way through to where we are now. But with an accountant she, I create content to create a pipeline of clients into the accounting firm. I create a pipeline of applicants, job applicants. Over the last 5 years, we're at 25 headcount and we've never paid a penny in recruitment fees. And a lot of that has come from creating content on social media, which I'm sure if lots of medium and large firms could cut out recruitment fees, they probably would do that overnight. And actually, I get to take that home as profit. So it's very, very profitable. And then I also create content for you. So I'm the host of the Practice Owners podcast. I am just going to put a link in the chat for you to explore a little bit about what I do for other accountants. But throughout this journey, again, just love yapping. And I describe myself as a see-through person. I'm basically a window in terms of like just being transparent and sharing the journey along the way. And so we've been able to scale really rapidly through creating a bit of a franchise on the inside of the business. So we've documented everything. So we have systems, processes, playbooks, workflows, standard operating procedures, and email templates for every single service line that gets delivered within the firm. In that, lots of people go to McDonald's because they know what to expect, but they don't expect the founder to be there when they walk in. And that's very much what I wanted to replicate within the accounting firm. And then the third part of my life is TV. And so more and more, I do lots of press, PR, speaking opportunities. I last week interviewed Kier Starmer for national TV and for my own socials, which was a wild experience, but it was really, really good fun. And so I do lots of work with shows like Dragon's Den. I do lots of the valuations and the numbers behind the numbers for shows like Dragon's Den. I appear on This Morning, BBC News, very, very frequently, and I'm doing more and more of that. And I've just wrapped for a TV show that will be coming out on the BBC in September. And so there's 3 parts of my life. I employ people far more intelligent than I am to do it, and I try and delegate a lot whilst maintaining my well-being. But a really big part of my story and my journey has been that I was a free school meal kid. I grew up wearing charity shop clothes, and my intro into the accounting industry changed my life. It was the first taste of financial education, and I have been really addicted to sharing that message with other people as if it's a Bible. Uh, Whenever I've sort of gone through my life, I didn't go to university because I had lots of caring responsibilities at home, and so used the apprenticeship scheme to grab job titles as fast as I could, collect them through my career. And so after I became qualified as an accountant, I did the big bulk of my training at a top 75 firm. So was very lucky to be trained to an incredibly high technical standard, to have incredible peers and mentors and people that I looked up to and tried to emulate with my soft skills. And being a great role model for more junior members of staff was something that I always took very seriously. And so after collecting job titles as fast as I could, after I qualified as an accountant, I did a master's degree. Not going to uni because I had caring responsibilities at home was a big sacrifice in my personal life that I kept with me, and definitely like measured myself at work against people who had degrees, and very much felt a lot of imposter syndrome because of that. And so in my mid-20s, I went and studied, was working full time and did an MBA, which is a master's in business. And that kicked off in 2020. And that was definitely the moment that I feel the trajectory of my life changed. So I feel like lots of you will relate to this, but as someone who has always loved maths, the only examples I could ever see of people who I felt had my type of brain were the only TV show I ever saw them on was The Big Bang Theory and not much else. And so actually as someone who always told myself, I'm an accountant, I'm an accountant, I'm an accountant, I feel like whilst there's a strong stereotype in the industry, sometimes that stereotype can happen to you too, and you kind of turn down the volume on bits of your personality or bits of yourself because you don't feel like that's how everybody else presents themselves. And so I think one of the biggest like profound changes that I encountered through doing a master's in business was actually I became an accountant, but I think I was born to do business, and I became an accountant because that was like a tangible job title that I could see on a list when I spoke to my careers advisor at school. But actually I love helping people. Like volunteer work has always been a huge part of my life since I was a child, and with a disabled sibling I saw the impact of volunteering and in my personal life. And so just had this beautiful combination of skills, which meant I love maths, I love people, I love helping people, I love um, translating complex topics into language that everybody can engage with, which is something that I had to do. My caring responsibilities are for, I have a disabled twin sister, and so my life has been translating the world into language that makes sense, and making someone feel comfortable still exploring that and feeling safe to ask questions. And so the MBA was great, but I'm sure lots of people would have done the same course and had a very different outcome. But for me, it switched something in my brain from just being an accountant and that stereotype happening to me thinking, I think there's more here. I think I became an accountant, but I'm not sure that's what I will do for the rest of my life. And so with all of these modules, I started saying to my husband, who was actually already self-employed and was building a sort of really small consulting portfolio, doing like FD work for large international firms. And we met in practice. We're both accountants. It's a very sexy accounting love story. But yeah, we're both accountants and we met at work. And so with every module, I was saying to my husband, like, I think there's a gap. Like I've just done my marketing analysis, I've just done a value proposition analysis, and I really feel like there's a gap for like high service, high price, but also delivering it in a way that makes people feel comfortable. I feel like loads of people are scared of us as accountants. They don't want to talk. And it's 2020. Actually, people aren't Googling this information anymore. They're searching on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube for the answers to their questions. And so James said, that's a terrible idea. I don't think it will work. And he's very happy wife, happy life. And so I persisted. I cried quite a few times and he gave in. And I quit my job in the summer of 2020, and yeah, we started the practice together, just the two of us, and a laptop each. And the very day that I became self-employed was the day that I started posting on social media. And yeah, 5 years later, our following is now just gone over 250,000 for the first time in July, we signed £180,000 of new work into the accounting firm, which for us, notoriously, summer holidays has always been really, really quiet. We've normally struggled to take work on in the summer holidays. I feel like you guys are probably the same. It used to be tumbleweed, and we've now just had like such solid, robust marketing strategy, which is my full-time job, to just make sure that we're continuously growing the firm, which is almost doubling in size every single year. And so if I was you, I'd be like, well, that's great. How do I do it? And I think for lots of us, we have to start with the goal and the end goal. I'm the host of the Practice Owners podcast, and it's a great joy in my life. It's a weekly private paywall podcast just for accounting firm owners and bookkeepers. And I feel like people take the most when they drop any ego. And I am very aware that for lots of people, scaling is not the goal. For me, my goal in life is to become a mom. And I knew that I, through my career as an accountant working with self-employed people, watched women build businesses, and it's women and men, but in my experience, I saw it a lot with women, build businesses and either have to wind down to become parents and then pick it back up again. And I just thought, like, this is so hard. Like, I can't build it twice. I don't want to build it twice. I don't know how anyone does this twice. And so very early on, James and I set the goal of building a business that could day to day run without us, but always felt like us.
Confessions of an Accountant, where no topic is off the ledger.